Hello, everybody. I am the Golden Boy, Greg Anthony, and today we are going to discuss the term jobber. That's right, jobber. Jobber happens to be, in my professional opinion, the most misunderstood term in professional wrestling today. And I'm going to explain to you why. I've seen it misunderstood by not just wrestling fans, but professional wrestlers in general. I've seen, let's take an example, for instance. I've seen Dolph Ziggler lose 3 weeks in a row on Monday Night Raw. And I see wrestling fans get on Twitter and Facebook and all kinds of social media talking about how Dolph Ziggler is now a jobber because he lost 3 matches in a row. Now, let me explain something. Dolph Ziggler has been beat a bunch in WWE. The kid's been beaten like a drum. I completely understand that. But he is in no which way a jobber. He was making $1.5 million a year. All of his matches were competitive matches. Therefore, not a jobber. And as far as professional wrestlers go, well, let me tell you a little bit about how I run my wrestling company. You see, when someone starts working for us, I put them against my guys that are actually part of my roster, and they put those guys over. And once they've established that they'll put those guys over and they're trustworthy and they're going to make their bookings and all that kind of thing, then we make them part of our crew, and then we start getting them wins and so on and so forth. Well, a couple years ago, I had a guy that was working for me, and he worked for me for about 3 or 4 weeks, and each time he was putting over one of my guys. Well, then on the 4th week, when I go to confirm him for the next date, he says, what am I doing? I explained to him what I just explained to you, that once you first start with us, your job is to put people over, and then we'll go from there. And he told me, quote unquote, he's not a jobber. Well, I wasn't treating him like a jobber. He was getting competitive matches against my guys. We were just trying to establish that he was going to be trustworthy. He was going to be loyal. He was going to make his bookings and that. So that's not a jobber as well. And then we look at things like Barry Horowitz. Barry Horowitz, a lot of people in the wrestling world, wrestlers and fans alike, will sit there and say Barry Horowitz is a jobber because they never saw him win on television. Winning and losing is not the deciding factor of being a jobber. Barry Horowitz was a worker that put people over. He could have went out there and got demolished in 3 minutes by somebody, or he could have went 15 minutes with Bret Hart. He was that good that he could just do that. He had a job in our business, a contracted job in our business for probably 20 plus years. So Barry Horowitz was not a jobber. The term jobber actually is, these are the guys that can't do anything. Jobbers are guys that can't take a hip toss. They can't take a body slam. They can't sell. They really don't know psychology. They're so green that the only thing that's useful to them is they are meat for the star coming in. Right? That's what a true jobber actually is. And this business was built on jobbers. Barry Horowitz, not a jobber. He's more of a carpenter. The guy that I was booking in my company, I wasn't treating him like a jobber. I was just treating him like a wrestler that has to put people over. Same thing with Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, we all know he won a household name in professional wrestling nowadays, but not a jobber. Lost a lot, yes, but not a jobber. So once again, for the Golden Boy Greg Anthony, I hope you learned something today. God bless and good day.